So this is our circuit for the temperature sensing fan. We have the MSP430 as the controller. We have a temperature sensor that puts analog input through ADC into the MSP430, and the duty cycle of the PWM changes accordingly with the input from the ADC, and thus switching the speed of the motor. The PWM inputs into the motor driver, and the motor driver outputs high to the motor using the power from the battery pack that's independent from our power of the MSP430. It is high when the PWM input is high, and it outputs low when PWM is low, and thus the PWM from MSP430 to the motor driver can effectively control the speed of the fan on the motor. We are also having a 8x8 LED matrix with the driver, which operates using I2C. We're outputting I2C clock and data from the MSP430. We defined two different patterns for the LED matrix. One is the smiley face when the temperature is low, that is when the input from the ADC is below a certain threshold, and it becomes a happy face when the temperature is higher than a certain threshold and the motor speeds up.
Here is a description for our software. We have configured our pins in the beginning, and we have also set up our ADC10 and as well as our timers and PWM. We put the temperature sensor for our ADC input pin and use the input to modulate our PWM, which gives out the output to our motor driver. And here is our main loop in which we do pin setups, and also here is the configuration for I2C transmission, and here are the initialization sequence for the LED matrix. Here we use delay cycles, but they are only going to be used only one time, because the delay cycles are necessary for the LED matrix initialization to stabilize. And then later on we'll use low power mode 0 to run the rest of the program. And here in timer 0 interrupt, we differentiate what modes the program's gonna be in what mode, which means if the temperature is too high, we're gonna output a happy face. If it's low, we're gonna output a smiley face. And here in the ADC interrupt routine, we're gonna read in the temperature value from ADC10, and then we put in the value from ADC10 and pass it on to the duty cycle of our PWM, so we can change the speed of our motor. And here, right here, we're gonna change the mode according to how high the temperature is, and therefore we can change the value of the LED. And right here, down at the bottom below, we have our transmit functions for our I2C. These two functions are basically similar, just the first one is used for initialization of our sequence, and the second one is for passing on different patterns. So I'm writing two different arrays to these two independent functions, but they are basically working in the same principle. And here in the bottom, I have my I2C interrupt routine, which transmits our data that's going to be passed on to our I2C address.